There is one team in the NBA that we are not talking about. Nobody is talking about. And they need to get their love. They need to get their flowers. They deserve some respect, and we need to be talking about them. And that team is the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, come on, man. This team is 5th in the Western Conference. 5th. That's better than the Mavericks, than the Kings, than the Suns, than the Lakers, than the Warriors. Are you kidding me? We talk about them all day long because they have a LeBron James, they have a Steph Curry, a Luka Doncic, but we don't talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe it's because of those awful city jerseys, which is fair. Those are horrible. Real talk here. Pelicans deserve some love. The only time I've really heard of us talking about the Pelicans is when Marshall grabbed Jimmy Butler's throat. That was the only time I've really heard about the Pelicans in the mainstream media. That is wrong. This team deserves some love. They have changed some things up, and they are developing quite well, and we just aren't paying enough attention to it. New Orleans Pelicans, if you've watched over the past probably 10 to 12 games, they've started Zion Williamson as a primary ball handler. Though his ball handling isn't amazing, he brings it up the court and he does what he has to do. Getting Zion more touches has been a beautiful thing. Just letting him drive right at the point of attack on their defense is just a beautiful, beautiful operation. It sets up their shooters such as Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, and even allows CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram to spot up from time to time. It causes havoc, and that's exactly what this Pelicans offense needs to do. It is a lot better. It's flowing freely, which is a beautiful thing, and Zion's able to do his thing. He's definitely more happy and content in this role. It allows Brandon Ingram to still shine and do what he does. And, you know, Brandon's still getting his touches. You know, I was looking over the stats for this video, and it just mind boggles me how close of stat lines Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram actually have. They are both averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. If you do some rounding, obviously they do it in a different fashion. Obviously, Brandon's a better shooter. He's got a little bit more finesse to his game, whereas Zion is just going to bully ball and score on you. Okay, that's what's awesome. We have 2 different fashions, but they're putting in very identical work. You don't know who their best player is, and it's wonderful. Like I'm saying, this is a team that we need to talk about, what the teams need to game plan a little bit for, because they're going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to go up against like a 4-seeded Clippers team, because they are 3 games behind those Clippers, and I don't know if they could catch the Clippers. You know, probably better chance that the Suns or the Kings pass them. It's really been an up and down year for the Pelicans. They haven't gone on crazy win streaks nor crazy losing streaks, which is good. They're just very consistent. Currently, they're sitting at, 37-27, which, like I said, is good enough for 5th place. And they are 6 games behind first in the West, whether it be the Thunder, the Nuggets, or the Timberwolves at the end of the day. It's just those 3 are so close at top, we don't really know. But the Pelicans are doing their thing. I already mentioned Brandon Ingram and Zion stats. Let's take a look at some of their other pieces, because their other pieces are really what the difference is. They don't have the superstar like LeBron or Luka. We mentioned that. But they have a team. One of the best well-rounded teams I think I've ever seen. Of course, you have those 2 22-point-per-game scorers in Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. But you also have CJ, who's averaging 18.5, 19 points per game with 4 and 4. You also have Valanciunas, who's averaging 14 and 10. Okay, you have great role players such as Dyson Daniels before the injury, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Najee Marshall. Jordan Hawkins is having a phenomenal rookie season. I think he's shooting the ball very effectively and efficiently and playing his role as needed very well. He's not doing too much, and he's contributing in the factors that he needs to contribute on. His defense probably needs to be talked about a little bit more as well. Actually, most of these role players, their defense needs to be talked about just a little bit more. The team is just playing really good basketball. If you look at the statistics as a team, then they are not top 5 offense. They are not top 5 defense. They are not top 5 blocks or rebounds. They are top 5 in steals, but that's about it. In all those other categories that I mentioned, they find themselves in the 8 to 10 range. 8 to 12 range, probably is better what I should say. 8 to 12 range. They are just a very well-rounded team. They don't shoot the ball amazing, but they don't shoot the ball really bad either. Again, I think they're actually closer to 5 in their shooting percentage. Free throws brings them down a little bit. Not a very good free throw shooting team, but they are a very good 3-point percentage team. They also are top 3 in steals, as I mentioned. They're pretty good at not turning the ball over, about 15. They're about middle of the pack of turning the ball over. They're on the plus side of getting turnovers. So there's that as well. They are just a very, very well-rounded team. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, and that is the reason why nobody in the NBA really talks about the Pelicans. That with on top of the fact that they can't win like more than 4 games in a row, but they also don't lose more than 2 games in a row, really. So, it's kind of a back and forth. It's a give and take with the New Orleans Pelicans. They're not a big market team either, so they're not going to get a ton of love, though they definitely should. It is just a good, solid basketball team, well coached by Coach Green over there. I mean, things look good, and it's something that I'm not necessarily worried about if I'm any of these other teams in the Western Conference. Again, I just want to give them their flowers today. If I'm the 4-seeded Clippers, am I going to overlook them? Absolutely not. This is a team that could win a first-round playoff game, a series. Do I think so? Probably not. I don't think this team would win more than 1 playoff series at most, but I don't see them winning even a playoff series. But still, man, to be the 5 seed in this close of a Western Conference with teams like I've mentioned before, the Suns, the Kings, the Lakers, the Mavericks, the Warriors, all below them, that is crazy. That is so crazy. They deserve their love, man. A team to definitely watch out for. Keep an eye on, because though they aren't amazing, this point Zion thing is working really well. They're shooting the ball very well. They distribute the basketball. There's not one guy that you can just take out of the game and you'll beat the Pelicans. No, it's a very good next man up team mentality, and I love it. It's great for the game of basketball. It's super fun to watch. It's honestly if you take Jimmy Butler away from the Heat and you put in like another guy that's like Bam's level. So if you had 2 Bams and there was a little bit better for role players, that's the New Orleans Pelicans. And if you put them in a big market like Miami, put it on a guy who talks a lot like Jimmy Butler. B.I.'s not that guy. Zion can do a little bit of talking here and there, but he doesn't play enough to really do his talking. That's what I think. It really is a fun team to watch. It's funny I mentioned the Heat after their little scuffle. Yeah, but maybe they're too similar. That's why they fought. I don't know, man. But let me know, what do you think about the New Orleans Pelicans? How far do you think they can go? I'll be in the comments.